right, we're here with Chris Sims here on Radio Row, talking Bears, obviously hot topic.
Yeah.
Number one pick.
Right.
Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields. Now, your evaluation of Justin Fields coming in from college to the pros has changed significantly since he's been with the Bears, right?
Right. No, definitely. I had my concerns, right, about him coming out of Ohio State. Did not love his throwing motion. Did not know if he would be able to replicate it consistently, which I think was a pretty fair assessment since that's all I ever hear from Chicago fans, right, is he doesn't throw it good enough. But he has made progress in that department in a big way. Like, definitely got better, this year. I even saw it a little bit at the end of the 2022 season where I went, okay, there's some things here that I think it's going in the right direction, right? In the last half of the year, I really thought, other than the Minnesota Monday Night Football game, he played really high-quality football. Now, is it perfect? Is it Mahomes or Josh Allen? No, it's not that. And I'm not sure it's ever going to be that as far as the throwing standpoint, but he has another elite ability that he can lean on. He is the best running quarterback in football. I don't think that's even close. So sometimes, hey, this is a tough one. And I have gone back and forth, but I think the last half of the year made me feel like, no, you stick with Justin Fields. You got something going. I was surprised they fired Luke Getsy, and I thought, man, the offense looks like it was growing. The O-line's good. The tight end's good. You got some good receivers, the running backs, and then, of course, a quarterback who's dangerous and a headache for a lot of defenses. So I am one, I guess, if you ask me, to just stay the course.
Stick with Fields.
But I don't feel like it's going that way.
Yep.
That's not how I feel.
I think a lot of Bears fans, they're of that mindset where you look at maybe, a team that's playing the Super Bowl in the 49ers, surround them with weapons.
Exactly.
And could that be a scenario in which where, the Bears, let's say they move on, don't use that number one overall pick on Caleb Williams, you can build around Justin Fields?
That's what I would do. Trade down a few picks, get another first rounder. I checked the rule book. You're allowed to have 3 first rounders in one set draft. So do all of those. I'm a believer in team. I really am. Mahomes got drafted by a great team. They were the 27th pick in the draft. They traded up to 10 or 11, right? So that is important. I don't care who you are, right? Now, I know he can cover more holes than most people, but hey, like we saw Elway was the best player in football through the 80s. He couldn't win the Super Bowl. All of a sudden he gets Terrell Davis and a little defense, and he wins the last 2 Super Bowls he plays in, right? So, yeah, I am a believer in build the team around the guy. And there are instances around football. Look at Jared Goff. The Rams wanted nothing to do with him. They got him to Detroit. They retooled him a little bit. Offensive line, great system that fits him. Oh, now everybody thinks Jared Goff is good, right? Tua. Certainly things about Tua. The GM has doubled down on the fact that, I think he was wrong to pick him at number 5, but he ain't going to let that happen. So he's, give me your Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Teron Armstead. We're going to get an all-star team here, and Tyreek's going to, and Tua's going to look pretty good. You could even say the same thing with Jalen Hurts to a degree, right? And I would tell you that Justin Fields has a better arm than Jalen Hurts, and he's definitely a better runner. So I would like to see that. And again, I don't think you're far off. I think it's DJ Moore, as you guys saw, is a superstar. Yeah. He's a superstar. Mooney, I think, is a great number 2 off of that. I love Kmet. So, yeah, and then you get those picks, another pass rusher, another shutdown corner, maybe another O-lineman, whatever they want to do. But that's, to me, when you start to become dangerous.
So if you push the preference to the side on what the Bears should do, just looking at the quarterbacks coming out, Caleb Williams and Drake May mostly is what Chicago is looking at. What is your evaluation of those guys?
Yeah, it's like, so I'm not there yet, right? I'd love to be able to give you great evaluations. Everything's going to be off of TV scouting. And sometimes I'm not always right that way until I dive in a few weeks and start to go in, and I can think one thing TV scouting, and then I start to watch film and I go, oh, the guy who I thought was number 3 is actually the best one, and the guy who's I thought was number 1 watching TV is actually like number 3 or 4. So that happens at times. But I think you're right. We're on Drake May, it's Caleb Williams, and it's Jaden Daniels of LSU. I think those are the 3 that'll be at the top of the list there. The thought I keep coming back to, May to me is like Joe Burrow. That's what I kind of look at Drake May. That's kind of when I look at him on TV, I kind of go that. Caleb Williams, we all go Patrick Mahomes maybe, right? That type of football player. But I think it's even looser than Mahomes was in college. That would be the thing too, where he has a few games or a period of time this past year where it definitely was a little bit like, whoa, there's a lot of crazy plays and decision making. But at the end, his talent is big time. And I come back to the fact that your GM is Ryan Poles, who came from Kansas City, and I just feel like he's going to be, I'm looking for my Mahomes, and that would be Caleb Williams, and that's why I said a few minutes ago, it just feels like things are starting to go in that direction to me. But then there's the, does Caleb Williams want to play at Chicago talk, which I want to go, that's insane. Like, I mean, why wouldn't you want to go to Chicago and play football there?
You bring up Mahomes, and Kyler Murray's another comp.
Sure.
You know, and these guys all came from the same system. Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, you know, Baker Mayfield, and now you have Caleb Williams. They're all coming from that same Lincoln Riley, Cliff Kingsbury system.
Yeah.
Is there something to be said that these quarterbacks coming from this system can translate to the NFL?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they've had a ton of reps. I think their biggest thing is that they get to drop back and throw the ball 50 times a game, right? So that's their best asset. They're not like, they don't get to the NFL and they're like oh,
J.J.
wait.
McCarthy.
Well, exactly right. It's a different thing. He's going to get in some NFL games and go, whoa, I got to throw it 44 times today to win the game or we're not going to win. That's different for me, right? These guys are, you know, they never have that thought. They're like, give me the ball, I want to throw another laser. I want to just keep throwing it. Now they have to learn to manage games and not play backyard football too much. I think those are the things that maybe they lack in that. But certainly, I mean, to me, forget all the systems and all that type of stuff. Does the guy have the ability is the first thing. Is he big enough and strong enough to handle the NFL? Are the physical skills, the arm talent, the ability to move in the pocket and all of that where you want it to be? That's where it's got to start. And then you start to dive into the person, right? Can he handle the playbook? Can he be a leader? Is he mature and going to handle himself the right way off the field? And that's what they're going to have to figure out. But yeah, you know, I think Caleb Williams certainly capable of all of those type of things. And don't read too much into that offensive system stuff and all that stuff.
Really quickly, I want to go back to the system with Bears now having Shane Waldron. What do you know about that system? How it can complement whether they keep maybe a guy like Justin Fields or Caleb Williams? And also, Fields would be going on his third system is that an issue?
Well, that to me is another sign. When that happened, when I saw them get rid of Getsy, that was the first thing that happened, a domino effect, right? Where I went, I don't think that means they're going to keep Justin Fields. Now, again, I don't know that. I have no inside info here. I really don't. But that would be my first inkling or thought when I saw that move. Like, damn, you're going to do that to Justin Fields? We were making progress, and now we got to learn a new offense? Right. So, yeah, that's what, again, leads me back to I think they're going to move on now and go to Caleb Williams, not saying I would do that. Waldron's offense, not totally different than Getsy's, right? Got a little background with Russell Wilson and a moving quarterback to a degree, right? A little more rooted in maybe McVay-ness as far as Shane Waldron. And I think it's, you know, he wants to throw the ball, as we know, but they don't forget about the run game, right? And McVay and company play under the center. That's where sometimes, too, even though I say, like, oh, I think it's Caleb Williams, I go, wait, Shane Waldron, he might want to run, you know, fake speed sweep, fake the run, do all that type of stuff. And Caleb Williams, you don't see do that type of stuff too much. But Waldron's offense has it all. It's got all the answers, certainly. And in a lot of ways, I think this offensive talent Waldron has in Chicago is really more complete than he had in Seattle. Because we know they had the receivers, sure, right? Their O-line has been horrible in Seattle. You guys got something going there. So I think he's got a little bit more of an avenue of success if they can get the quarterback thing right here and do all that.
Chris Sims bringing us the answers here on Radio Row. I will not harass you the rest of the time. I was after him all day long.
He was all right. You were polite. You were good.
We appreciate your time.
Problem. Nice
Chris
meeting
Sims.
you guys. No problem.
We all silly like the mayor.